Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Alicia Manzano, the mayor's liaison. Help me out there.
Mayor's liaison.
I know I've been working all morning on that, and I just couldn't get. I can't. You overwhelm me. So
I'm sorry, it's one of those tongue twisters.
So, and we're here to talk about the National Senior Games.
Yes.
Bought to by Humana, correct?
Yes.
Humana, big sponsor.
Huge sponsor of the games, yes.
Well, it's here. I mean, it's like, and I know it's something
Yeah.
that, started off a year ago, and I can just remember we were in the Pacific Plaza doing a special event for, with Hazel and
Yeah.
getting first year of Tim Keller's administration and just getting this event going on, and it's starting to happen.
It's really taken shape. We kick off things on Friday. So there's a few sports that are kicking off early on Friday before the flame arrival ceremony that happens on Saturday. So we're getting really excited. We're prepped. There's lots that goes into this, as you can imagine. All of the national folks have come in now, the senior games folks, to help out to make sure that we have everything set up and we're ready to go.
Well, I know. So tell me your main function. What are you concentrating on? I know you probably have wearing many hats at
Yes.
this moment, but something that you just kind of took over like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, so I came on board about 3 months ago to ensure that we had all of the communications and marketing underway for the games. As you can imagine, this is a really well-attended event, and a lot of media want to cover it, national media, local media. So I'm trying to make sure that we have an awareness as to where the stories are, what the interesting angles are going to be, so we can let media know and they can cover those competitions.
Well, I know one that's very, very impressive is that we have 3,700 plus athletes, the biggest athletes, senior citizens athletes that in New Mexico, coming into New Mexico, and it's 30% higher than any previous event held.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, the fact that we have almost 14,000 athletes coming into town to compete is huge. The previous record was set like 20 years ago in Orlando. And we shattered that record. So we're really excited. We think that we have everything in place. I think the athletes are getting ready. They're gearing up. We advise them to come a couple days early to adjust to the altitude because, it can be tricky to train at this altitude and to compete at this altitude.
Have you checked the weather for the next 2 weeks?
It looks like hot and then hot, which is good. Last week we had quite a bit of rain and wind, so we'll see if that kicks back up again. But that'll impact some of our outdoor events. But we do have quite a bit of indoor events too, with badminton, volleyball, basketball, all of those things too.
If I'm correct, 20 events, is that correct?
That's right, at 21 different venues. So the way I kind of highlight this is we have a huge event here in Albuquerque called Balloon Fiesta. Balloon Fiesta is the largest event that the city of Albuquerque hosts. This will be the second largest event that the city of Albuquerque hosts, but the unique piece of that is that we're at 21 different venues. Balloon Fiesta happens at one venue. So as you can imagine, it takes a lot of coordination, a lot of officials and athletic trainers and all of that stuff
And
as well.
also a lot of strategic partnership. I had to
Yeah.
throw that in. That's the rest of your that's the rest of your title. So,
Yeah.
but I was thinking about that. You got 21 venues, and here's the nice thing: the venues are great venues.
They are.
I mean, if you think about, kind of rattle off a few of where they're going to be at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most unique and, of course, the most recognizable is the Pit. So basketball is going to be happening at the Pit as well as Rudy Davalos Center there at UNM. We'll also have track and field out at UNM. We'll be at the Albuquerque.
And that starts on this Sunday.
It does. It starts right away. We have basketball starting as early
We
as
got it right up here on the
Friday. Yeah. So we also have competitions out at Manzano Mesa with pickleball. We've got a lot of activities happening at the convention center, which is also the athlete village. But we'll have badminton there. We'll have volleyball there. So you can come out and watch all of this too. This is the cool part of it all, right? You can come and see this for free.
That's what I was going to say. It's free to the public,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm you go back. It's the second biggest event in New Mexico besides the Balloon Fiesta. What kind of economic impact have you got to the?
Sure, absolutely. So there was a study that came out of UNM to address the economic impact, and we're looking at about a $34 million economic impact to the city, which is huge. just to give you some perspective of that, there's already been over 12,000 rooms sold, hotel rooms. So that's huge. You know, a lot of people have been calling around just to see if they could get a room, and it's really tough right now. Right now they're looking at Airbnbs, and even that we're getting between 60 and 80% occupancy. So it's going to be well sold out here.
Well, and to go one step further with that, they have to have places to eat,
That's right.
entertainment, things that, you know, is there any special events that you might be doing over this time that people can go see or do?
Yeah, some of the really neat special events that we're hoping to get people out to is the flame arrival ceremony, which is happening this Saturday. So it's when the torch actually arrives to Albuquerque and we light the cauldron. It's out at Civic Plaza. That'll be at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, and we'll have a host of special events that are going on that evening as well, some entertainment. And then we have the big celebration of athletes at the Pit, which is June 19th, and that's also free. And that's basically where the athletes parade in, just like you do at the Olympics, with their flags, their respective teams. We'll have live entertainment there as well, and the governor will be in attendance, the mayor, and a lot of folks just hoping to come out and cheer on their athletes.
Well, you know, I'm a former Lobo, and I don't want to hold it against that you're an Aggie, but you did get your degree from UNM.
I got my master's at UNM. I'm an Agbo.
Okay,
It's one of those
but you know,
things.
you think about you know, the nostalgic, the dream style arena of the Pit brings to Albuquerque and to New Mexico, or even also, you know, I guess you could say almost national, worldwide. I mean,
right.
people really know that basketball is the gift, but to be able to walk, I don't know if you ever walked down the ramp.
I did. You know, I'm a former athlete myself. I played basketball and I was in an all-star game, and we played at the Pit, and it was one of the highlights of my life to be able to run down that ramp and play in the Pit.
Kind of get a little adrenaline going.
You
You're
the nerves,
yeah,
you know, I had such high nerves, and my family was there, and it was so exciting. And I remember going in at halftime and going in the locker room and being like, wow, this is such a great experience. So I'm still starstruck by the Pit. Even when I go to see, you know, games there, I think it's such an impressive arena. I think that it has so much history, so I assume that the athletes are really excited to see it too.
Well, you know, I think the main thing is it's, you know, there's probably the only one I can think of is San Diego State that's actually built down into the ground, and the name, the Pit, it just kind of like you're thrown into a snake pit.
That's right.
When you're playing, and not too many teams come out with a win when they play.
That's right.
Hey, we're going to go to the Dream. While we're talking about it, we're going to go to the Dream Style Arena. Top 10 plays of the week, and then we'll come back and talk more about the National Senior Olympic Games. Or just not Olympic, Senior Games.
Sounds good.
Another look here. Davis gets rid of this one quickly. Look at this. Kent really made this happen. Rolled to his right, extended the play, fires across the middle to DC for the touch. Davis has some time to the end zone. Touchdown! Got some heavy jewelry on that ring.
Oh man, I tell you what.
Pass.
Oh yeah! Woo!
Dello Davis with a touchdown to open the half. The play clock. Romello Brown up the middle. Romello still on his feet, and he's in for the touchdown. Davis under center. Here comes the pressure. He's flushed out to the end zone, and it's picked. Happy birthday, Dontrell Johnson. Why not take it to the house?
To the house, he's cruising in. Little treat for the fans.
That's how you celebrate a birthday right there, right?
Happy birthday.
The birthday boy with the pick. Davis, that one's complete up the middle. Swing and a miss at the football. And a big play. It's going to get all the way to the 10. It's a turnover! The other way, and it's going to go in for 6! It's a touchdown! rushing yards, just under 3,800. Up the middle to Cedric! Up and over! Did he catch it? Yes, sir! And it's a touchdown for Cedric Johnson. The look here. Big Ced was bracing himself. He knew he was going up and over, and he held on. Davis. It's intercepted. Picked off by Serta. Jason's got a lot of room, and he's going to go all the way. It's a pick six for the defending Defensive Player of the Year.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The Albuquerque Dragway is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks. Visit abqdragway.com for directions and a full event schedule.
Alicia Manzano, the mayor's liaison. I'm getting better.
You do,
I'm getting coachable there.
It's awesome.
It's amazing. I come from Clovis, and it's hard to roll those R's and get these things in. But you know what? Again, thanks for taking your time. I know you're on a busy, tight schedule.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Back to, we have 20 events, and I think really it wouldn't happen without sponsors.
That's absolutely right.
And Humana, they really stepped up, and you might want to speak on behalf of them.
Sure. I mean, Humana is a huge sponsor for the National Senior Games at the national level, but we also have some great local partners here. So Haverland Carter Life Plan Communities is a huge sponsor here locally. They're the ones who run La Vida Llena out in Rio Rancho. We have folks like New Mexico Gas Company, of course UNM, with providing volunteers. I think that's huge. Not only are sponsors huge, but folks like UNM have stepped up and said, hey, we want to give our employees 5 hours of time off to be able to go volunteer at the games because it's that important to the city. I think that makes a huge impact, and it shows the partnerships that we're able to have with the city.
Speaking of basically volunteers, do you still need volunteers?
We could absolutely use some more. The good news is we had such a huge outpouring of support in true one Albuquerque fashion, as I like to say. We needed to fill 7,500 slots. So that's not people, that's slots. There's 4-hour shifts. So we're at about 6,800 slots filled, which is huge. That means we can carry the games out right now if we needed to with the amount of volunteers that we have. However, we could always use more just in case there are some drop off here and there. So you can still volunteer. You can sign up on the website nsga.gov/volunteer. Or if you come out to one of the games, I think what's going to happen is these athletes are so inspiring, and it's going to be such a fun time that they'll come out maybe to watch a game and then say, hey, I want to volunteer a couple times. So if that does happen, so at the Convention Center at Athlete Village, we'll have on-site volunteer check-in and walk-up volunteers. So if you still want to do that, you can walk up and say, hey, I want to volunteer out at pickleball or basketball or softball or wherever it is that you want to, and we can help you sign up.
Well, that's, I think, one thing Tim Keller's administration and community stresses yourself, the community, and this is really, 21 different venues.
That's right.
This is it's going to be a highlight of the summer. I mean, this is, and it starts all this Friday. So.
Yeah, and you're right. Mayor Keller has been highlighting the fact of One Albuquerque, which basically means bringing all of the community together, bringing all stakeholders together. And I think this is the prime example of that. Not only do we have all of the different venues, 21 different venues, all of the sponsors, all of the various sponsors and partners, I should say, who are providing volunteers like Starbucks and Presbyterian and New Mexico Gas Company and the Love
You
ABQ
just
folks.
go on.
I can go on and on and on. Folks who are providing a high level of volunteers. You know, it's one of the greatest ones that I'm really excited about is the faith community has come together for Love Week, which happens to coincide with the week of the senior games. So it's called Love ABQ, and they are providing almost 1,000 volunteers for the games. So that's huge. So like you said, I mean, in true One Albuquerque fashion, the communities come together because they know this is going to be a huge draw, that we have an opportunity to showcase the city to all of these, what we're expecting, 25,000 visitors when you count the athletes and spectators. I mean, we have an opportunity to say, hey, Albuquerque's a great place to live and to train because of the altitude.
Well, I think the word land of enchantment.
Yes.
I mean, once, people get to Albuquerque, and I say this story all the time, I don't know how many people, I know you talked to a lot of people, and you'll ask how they got here, and a lot of people, they said, oh, I just came in here for the summer. Or, they start out with the summer, or they just came in for a part-time job and just want to kind of relocated, and then 25 years later, they moved.
They're still here.
Still here. So, but it has, and I think that, I'm a native, born in Clovis, and so I think New Mexico, I strive, and we don't hear enough positiveness of Albuquerque, and again, going back to Tim Keller and yourself, is that he's really promoting. He doesn't like us being in the 49th or 50th or whatever poll you're looking at or whatever. And when you think of that, I look at all the good things. Public education is, and the facilities that we have, and some of the venues that we're going to be seeing,
right.
and showing the rest of the country. I coach AAU basketball and been on doing, and the facilities that we have here, they're as good or better than anywhere in the country.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I think we'll be out at Volcano Vista, we'll be out at Sandia High School, at Highland High School, at West Mesa Aquatic Center. I mean, some of these venues were just prepped and ready to go for these games. There wasn't a lot of looking around that we had to do when we brought the national folks here. It was like, we have facilities here.
And we're sports oriented. See, that's the other thing. I mean, that's one thing. We're not blessed with a NBA team or a
I know,
NFL team, but we embrace our high school athletics, and also our UNM, and also New Mexico State. We'll throw those in, and also
Thank you.
all our smaller schools of Eastern, Western, and Northern New Mexico, and better not forget about New Mexico Highlands. So
that's right. You better just lay them all out there.
Lay them all out there. So. Anyway, we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about the National Senior Games.
Sounds good.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? 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 Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We have Alicia Manzano, the mayor's liaison, and actually, strategic partnerships. I got it all in.
You sure did.
So, what I think. Kind of give us, if you can, the history of how we got it. I mean,
Sure.
how many, truthfully, how many cities have bid for? I don't know the process. How this happened.
So the process started well before I was ever involved. So I think about 4 years ago, they started the bid process with the National Senior Games Association, basically dating. So they were dating them for several years, and then
it's a big honor. I mean,
It's a huge honor.
I was here last year, and there was question marks. What is
So about 2 years ago is when they selected us after some dating and site visits and making sure we had the proper venues and facilities to host the games. And then for the last 2 years, it has been just securing venues, putting schedules together, getting people registered. So yeah, it's a huge honor, and like you said, I mean, they can go to various cities across the country, and they do. Last games was in Birmingham, Alabama, which is 2 years ago, and then 2 years from now it'll be in Fort Lauderdale.
Some of the things, and maybe this is a question, some of the things, I'm sure each year they want us to get it better.
Yeah.
Is there something that they were looking for in Albuquerque that they could, highlight it? Evidently they did something because there's more athletes coming to Albuquerque. So do you have any ideas what those were?
So I think it's just about planning and transportation and all of that to do better, which we are doing a lot of that right now, making sure that athletes have accessible transportation to and from their hotel areas to the athlete village, because really they're responsible for their own transportation, but we wanted to make it a little bit easier for them. So we're going to run special routes. So our buses are going to run special routes from the hotel center all the way out down to the athlete village downtown to make sure that they have access to the facilities that they need to get to.
I take this, the people doing this, they're I mean, people my age, I guess, and older, but they take it. I mean, this is
huge,
And I'll use Brad Winters for there's I mean, you would think that this is his Olympics. I mean, have you seen him?
The guy is ready.
I mean,
the guy has been training.
He has been training. He's, he looks
and
like
he has a really stiff competitor this year. Apparently, he's been, Brad Winter has been really, really doing well at pole vault is his competition.
Right.
And this year, I guess there is a guy, same age group, who is coming in to compete. And so Brad wants to defend his medaling here in his hometown. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. And like you said, it varies. The age groups vary from, 55. Our oldest athlete's 103. She's running track and field. So if nothing else, you should be inspired by these folks. And I talked to one of the local athletes. His name's Larry Johnson, and he's 99 years old. He's the oldest New Mexican competing. And I asked him, "What's your secret, Larry?" And he said, "Just keep moving." And I think that is something that we can all attest to. And I have zero excuses now because, I used to say, "Wow, I'm too tired to go to the gym." But come on, I mean, these folks are amazing.
Well, I went to the New Mexico Games ceremony, and I saw Brad there, and I mean, he's chiseled, he's still, and he could just, it's like he could not wait for these next couple 3 weeks or whatever it is, and And then there was a lady that, and I can't remember her name, but she was pickleball.
Yeah.
And it's something that pickleball is just this.
These are stellar athletes. They have to actually qualify for the games. This isn't just a hobby for them. We have several Olympians who medaled as Olympians when they were younger, who are still competing in the games. We have, folks like Brad who have been competing in the Senior Olympics and done very well. I think it's just, this isn't just, some little, how cute, little old people. These are athletes. These are people who train for this. And so I think it's really great that they're going to be here and we can see that.
And, we're talking about training. It didn't start like last month. These guys have been going to all over the country for the last 12 months and getting, just like, the NBA finals.
That's right.
They're building up to see if they can peak at the right time and show their skills and get the national attention. I mean, you said it earlier, the national attention is humongous on this thing. I mean, I mean, people, probably your phone's ringing off the hook of, because a lot of that stuff is last second.
Oh yeah, you've got husband and wife teams, you got father-son teams who are, competing in various sports. You've got Pat Boone coming, who competes in basketball. He's been competing in basketball for years. So, I mean, you name it, we have great stories of folks who are competing in the games, and that's why it's really important to get their stories out.
And I think the biggest thing is, listening to, reading the paper, and I guess the journals really, they're going to be, putting the days out, and what a great partner the Journal is, and also all the, the TV market in town there. I mean, it's like it's what a perfect timing. The NBA Finals are, be over this week.
And at least we get another game out of it, right? After last night.
But I'm just saying, there's, it's something that, sports announcers and have to have some excitement.
Oh, sure. I think it's everyone. I mean, we get tired of hearing about some of the bad stuff that's happening in our city sometimes, and we want to hear about the positive things. And right now, this is something really positive that everyone can look forward to and participate in. Come out and see these amazing athletes. You won't be disappointed.
20 events, 21 venues, starting this Friday.
And if you want to see a schedule of events, you can go to nsga.com, and they'll have a listing of all of the events that you can catch.
There it is right there.
That's right. That you can catch throughout the game. So if you want to go see badminton, you can go catch that. And we want spectators to come out. Folks, we have 1,500 New Mexico athletes competing. Let's cheer on our New Mexico athletes here in our hometown. Let's defend our hometown.
Well, I think that's the New Mexico athletes really have participated, and thanks for saving me. The participation by New Mexico athletes has been very positive.
Yes. I mean, 1,500, we're obviously the largest representation of any state. And then California, Texas, and Colorado are right behind that. But 1,500 athletes from New Mexico, we want to show them our New Mexico pride, cheering them on against those other folks from other states.
Well, Lisa, thanks for coming on the Steve Davis Show, and have fun the next 3 weeks.
Thank you. Hope to see you.